Hey everyone, Joe Cosentino. Welcome to Coffee with Cosentino. Today we have a special guest. We have Dylan, the artist, Komodo.
What's up, guys?
Dylan, welcome.
Joe, thank you for having me.
You're welcome,
Great
brother.
to see you again. Great to see the boys.
Good to see you.
Happy to talk. Happy to have a good day and get some good combos going.
Good. I'm glad you're feeling good.
Feeling good. Got the
All right.
piece here we got made. You set
talk
up.
about that.
Got the coffee. Got the good day going on. So feeling good.
Great. So tell us, tell everybody out there, we see you on Instagram. We see what you do and all your great success you've had.
Thank you.
But
Appreciate
tell us
it.
where you're from. Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, so
your background.
So New York guy, born and raised in East Meadow. Huge family. Like I tell everyone even now, I'm the biggest family guy. Right. Even with the art, sometimes I'll take a step away and say I got to go to this event, this family occasion, and I'll do art at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and put the focus on family. So older brother, Tom, 2 younger sisters, Danielle and Ashley. And throughout our whole life, we've always been athletes. Everyone in the family. It's kind of how we were raised. And with the athletes, I tell everyone at the same time, it's cool because being an athlete teaches you so much more about life and teamwork and socializing with people. Discipline that carries to your life after being an athlete. So right off the bat in East Meadow, I was like, how can I use my athletics to try to honestly help make money for my parents, get a scholarship. So went to Stony Brook, played football there. Nice. I was a middle linebacker. And I actually tore my meniscus, broke my foot there.
Wow.
So I stopped playing football, but I told the coach, I was like, if there's anything I could do, let me be a part of this family still, even though I can't be a soldier on the field. And he loved that. And he actually gave me a scholarship to video. So I went from a linebacker to a videographer, all my boys at the top, and stayed with everyone, like the family, which is the main thing.
Right.
Graduated Stony Brook.
Which is out on Long Island.
Which is right here, in Suffolk. In Center Reach, and from there I just kind of started working in my career in finance, building myself up, which was about 5 years until I got to this this part of my life, this new chapter, you should say, which I know we'll get into. But yeah, just Long Island, New York. Born and raised, big family, and like I said, even in college, stayed in New York, so I really didn't travel as much.
Stayed close to home.
Stayed close to home.
Did you commute or did you?
So on the football team, we had to. It's nothing like being in the military, right? You don't even compare it to that. But the regimen of waking up at 4:30 a.m., going to meetings, doing a lift at 5:30 before practice. Wow. So the lift, they're screaming in your face to squat 315, to bench, 365, whatever, before practice, showering, going to practice, having the mandatory meal, peanut butter and jelly. They'll feed you like 5 a day. Tutor hall. And then after tutor hall, it's like about 1, 2 p.m. And then classes till like 8:30. So you technically have to be like on the campus if you're playing.
Sure.
So I was there for 4 years. But the cool thing is, back to family, my mom basically was like she lived down the block.
Right.
Every other day she's bringing me Chipotle. It's my birthday. She has balloons on my car.
Wow.
Driving me all around. And my tire breaks down. They come from East Meadow to help me. So it was really nice.
To be
close to home, and it's not everybody's wish. Some people like to get away.
Some people like to go away. Some people want to stay home.
But to have, if you are close to your family and the experiences I did with them going to Stony, I was like, I love that. Being close with them.
I stayed close to home for college. I played football like you.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I went to Iona.
Okay,
when
nice.
Iona had a football team. Way back when.
What position did you play?
Fullback.
Let's go.
I was middle linebacker in high school, but in college.
We were the guys going at each other. So fullback and linebacker.
I was running the linebacker over. But it was very demanding, especially camp. Camp was brutal.
What was that, D3 or D2?
We were D3.
D3, yeah.
D3, yeah. So
that's awesome.
But it was great experience. But like you said, you get hurt or you something happens in life and you got to make a choice. So,
you got to make, you got to.
And then you obviously went into your occupation and tell us what you did. Like, how did you get into that?
So, to just go back real quick to even the football, I play football, lacrosse, basketball, boxing, like anything that
Any
I could
sport you could
try.
try.
Yeah, it's how we were. Football was the thing. I was actually boxing the same time I was playing football, and when I was about to compete, the boxing, my coach wanted me to get down to 185. Football said, you want to be a D1 linebacker, you got to get to 225.
Right, you got to
So
bulk up.
at the same time, like, I'm on this football team, and, scholarships nowadays for football, could really help my parents out more than anything. So I said, I'm going to use football to do this and help them out,
Right.
honestly. And graduated, same exact thing. I was a marketing major, art minor, no background in finance, no knowledge in banking.
Right.
And I said, I love people. I love helping people. And this, let's be real, finance, if you're a business major, is one of the top, paying jobs.
Sure.
So I said, let's see if I could build my way up the ladder. And essentially what I did is I pirated my way through. In my head, right before I started, I said, I could become a JP Morgan financial advisor if I work at Chase, because it's the same company, it's internal.
Yeah.
And by being a workhorse, showing them that I'm not trying to be stagnant and trying to elevate.
And have the discipline.
And have the
really
discipline back
show
to
up.
an athlete. Yep, but the old managers always circle back around my,
Yeah.
my characteristics they saw as an athlete that replicated what I did in the bank. And I was a relationship banker for a year. The next at Plainview, the next year in Bethpage, I was a private client banker. Until one of the guys there worked, he worked at Wall Street at a team, and he saw what I was doing there, talking to people, diffusing situations, acting like a manager. He took me under his wing, brought me to Wall Street. Him and my other partner, Anthony, that are literally like my closest friends. Till this day, I love them. Went to Saratoga with Ken, took me Vegas for the first time with Anthony. And everything was going in the perfect direction where coming close with them, moved to Chase to JP Morgan and Wall Street, and got my Series 7 and 65 in April. In January, this is where the tide kind of switches. My nanny that I was the closest with that passed, or God, someone was telling me, get your art out, your creativity, get it out there. And the first person I gave art to was Tyson at one of the meet and greets. And the next week at 50 Cent. The next week it was the Jets and Giants and Saquon. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm 27, got no girl, no kids. I'm living at home because I got the best parents, saving money. If I don't take this risk right now, I will always look back at this, even if I'm making 500K to $1 million at JP Morgan on a top wealth management team. I'm going to look back at this and say, have that feeling in my gut that, what could have happened.
The regret.
And
or
looking
what
at my,
could have been.
What could have been, yes. Yeah. And looking at my parents, I said, guys, I wasn't an art major. I didn't just get out and do art. I got the degrees. I got the financial licenses now that I still hold. Mm-hmm. And now let me show you that it's not if, when this is going to happen to become this next big artist. And not a lot of people are fortunate enough to have parents look at them and say, let's ride.
Right.
We're on your team. You need help with money? You need, driving around? My dad's like, you get in the car from Enterprise every time?
Yeah.
Take my truck. I don't care. I'll fill up for gas from you after. So having that support was huge off the bat for my heart, my mental health, to say, wow, not even the art, but the people I love most and care more about than anything in the world are supporting me with this crazy idea.
Yeah.
It
is a crazy idea.
Let's fucking ride. And
to give up a career like that and then say, I'm going to switch.
To art.
Yeah.
Well, one guy, my friend Jawad, one of my best friends from Stony Brook University, came over one day, we're having a beer, and he goes, Dylan, I have a question for you. And it changed my life, honestly. He said, who do you want to see yourself? Your one life you have, not anywhere we go when we pass, just on this earth right now. When you type in Dylan Hipner on Google, who do you want to see? Do you want to see that advisor that's making $500,000, $1 million a year in a suit, shaking hands, professional?
Yeah.
Or do you want to see this crazy artist with paint all over, with different celebs, with athletes, giving back to different causes, charities, making a difference in a different way? And I closed my eyes and I was like, you know what? Always working my way, trying to say, where's the money? Find the money. It came to a point that I said, this is one life I have. I can't promise tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I want to see that guy, the artist, that creative, happy guy. And since 5 months in the role, I'm like a different person. I'm the happiest guy. The energy is through the roof, and you know, quite frankly, I feel like this is my life, who I was meant to be. So it's a really good feeling.
Yeah, it's hard to take be an artist and because you always hear the term starving artist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a lot of friends that I grew up with, obviously in the Bronx, and they're graffiti artists.
Yep, that's the ones you were showing me,
Yeah, the
the
books
books,
and
yeah.
stuff, and you know, it's hard. Like you know, maybe you got one or two, a handful of guys who really made it where they could make a living
Yep.
and say, all right, we took it from a street art or the pastime or just some creative side.
What was your friend's name, the one that passed, that in the group with everyone that you had, that was that you showed me the work?
Carl,
Yeah.
Elf,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Carly, yeah.
and the cool thing when I say about people with that art, even if God forbid, knock on wood, something happens to me,
Yeah.
this is gonna live on, giving this to you.
Right.
And just like you having that experience over those years with all your boys growing up here, having those pictures,
Sure.
that lives on and through art.
Yeah,
And that's
look
why.
at this piece you made here for me.
Yep.
You know, we met at Tony's event.
Yep. Shout out Tony Peck. First
Tony
of all,
Peck.
that's my brother for life. I love that guy.
And I came up to you and I was like, you know, we were talking about cigars, we're
Yep.
talking about, you know, so many things, and real estate. We started going into, you know, a couple of things. I said, wow, this is really impressive. Like, you're making some good stuff
Yep.
here.
I won't forget that convo.
And you were like, yeah, I just kind of starting, you know, I'm doing this a few months, you know, kind of
Getting into it, getting this new journey.
right. So how do you go from being an artist to now a business owner?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you have the finance background, which helps a lot.
Yep.
And you have some business and marketing skills, so you can market yourself.
Can market
'Cause that's
as well,
really
yeah.
what business is all about.
Yep.
Is marketing, sales, and being, you know, approachable and likable. So
Yep.
if I didn't like you,
We wouldn't even have that
I
convo.
wouldn't
Yeah.
exactly. I would have just been like, "Oh, nice," but because you're a personable and likable person, you know, we start talking. And now you start saying, "Yeah, you asking me questions, I'm asking you questions," kind of like what we're doing here. But how do you then say, "I'm going to really try to make a business out of this"?
Yeah, so for me, I just feel like I'm a little bit different of an artist, honestly. I feel like I want to change the art game, and there's other artists that are like this, but I
Yeah.
feel like rather than being an artist that doesn't talk about a piece, doesn't connect with people, a little more introverted, just how you explained that example when I first met you. You came over, you know, you saw the art, said it was cool, but what really meant something, what I would never forget is that combo about us talking about this, that, and
Yeah.
that, and connecting as humans, connecting as people. And my favorite type of pieces I love to do are not the craziness. I could create hundreds of pieces from my head if I close my eyes and
Right.
you know, get creative. But the pieces like this, when you literally sent me this photo of the corner of your room with everything that you love,
Right.
the boxing, Morris Park Realty Group, the Villager Cigars, the Blue Label, the Eagle.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's basically the same things in different aspects, different material.
Right.
And that means a lot to me because I could take what you love, your passions,
Right.
use my passion, and then put it on a canvas, on, you know, material,
That'll last forever.
and last forever. Exactly. So that's, you know, what I love to do more. So the commission pieces where I could get to know someone.
Yeah.
And with the multimedia aspect, it's really endless. You know, whatever you like, in a
Yeah.
sense, I
And you even
cut it up.
Even got the poker chips in there.
Got the poker chips in there. Yeah, I love that you like that because sometimes
Sure.
with my art, there's a lot of things that I like to throw in that.
No, let's
Could-
talk
or
about
subtle,
it.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just, you got the boxing. I see. You know, you put some gloves in there. You
Yeah.
told me about that. That's actually a real
boxing glove, yep,
You
yep.
cut it up, right?
Real Blue Label
You got the
bottle.
bottle, and then you know you kind of camouflaged it in a little bit.
Yeah, so what I use here, so a lot just to speak about the material a little, so epoxy resin is basically something, it's like liquid cement.
Right.
So being a multimedia artist, with this as well as, you know, industrial glue, stuff that will never fall off.
Right.
The material I use and getting more experience, being an artist for 5-6 months, day
Yes.
by, not even week by week, day by day, I'm experimenting, I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to grow, use different materials, get inspired by different people, different
Right.
events. And through this, you know, this is static grass and then artificial mud.
Right.
So this, you know, in a sense, kind of creating that looked like it was coming out of the ground and stuff. I didn't use this 2 months ago.
Right.
Now in a lot of my pieces, if I feel it makes sense,
You start using it.
I'll throw it in. So the cool thing about why I quit is the vision in my head that I said, just like basketball, you can't teach height. You could teach skill.
Right.
And that's why my sister, there was a Newsday article about Danielle Hipner when she came out, and they said that being she's 6', 6'1", she's the equivalent in men's basketball to be a 7-footer. So right off the bat,
Wow.
bring this height in, even though she had the skill,
Yeah.
but the height right off the bat, and then we could teach a skill. So for the artist that I want to become, connecting with people throughout my whole life and making a difference, really giving back. And,
Wow.
a lot of people say, certain times you should do that, do not, but as a type 1 diabetic, someone that's always been the how guy rather than the why guy, that's another one of my passions, to make people smile, and people who not even that, can make their day, can make their life. And if I could do that by being creative, it's a win-win for, for me, for the person. And, so.
Yeah, living with diabetes is not easy. And
it's
people that have it struggle.
Yeah.
Diet, exercise, you got to take, eat the right, sleep right. It's really, challenging.
It
Especially
is.
as you get older. When you're young,
It's different.
Not so much.
As things
But as
change, as your
body
body
starts
changes,
changing.
it's a big deal.
Yes.
And if you're maintaining it, if you're doing the right thing, if you're doing the right foods, your numbers are controlled.
right.
You're living like any other person compared to an opposite where you're just eating donuts, you're
Right.
not covering for stuff. And unfortunately, that's when the problem with the
Sure.
eyes come in.
Yeah.
But if you're doing the right thing, and number one, your health, your family is the most important things, you're taking care of your health, you're
gonna live
living,
a
you're on
long
this
time.
side of the ground. You
And
could
you're
do
gonna live
anything you
healthy.
believe. So I actually have my manager, recently I just got a manager the past couple of weeks. He's actually setting me up with a visit in one of the hospitals to speak with the JDRF, which is a Junior Diabetes Foundation.
Great.
And for me, my whole life, I've been going to these events, Christmas parties with raffles, not being a diabetic. Before I was 12, 13. And I remember people speaking, and, the times people got on mics and just listening, and the impact it had on people with diabetes. And now I'm speaking here, and like I said, my one goal is to not even have eyes on the art, not even have eyes on me, but spread that message that be that how guy. If you are in this situation where you're breathing,
Right.
focus on your health, number one, but then what are your goals?
Yeah.
Because for my story, when I was in the hospital, the doctor wasn't a dick, but he was more of a blunt doctor, and he looked
Right.
at me, and I never forget, and he
No
goes,
bedside manner.
no, like, you're 12, you just got diabetes for your life. So he looked at me and he's
Kid.
like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm playing football, I'm hanging out with my friends, driving bikes around. He goes, football is going to be hard to do. And he meant like right now while I'm learning,
Right.
you can't even get one of the pumps for at least like 4 years until you educate yourself on it. So he looked at me and he's like, I don't know if you could do that now. And I stopped crying. I was like crying, a little kid. I stopped crying. I looked at him. I said, what are you talking about? And he's like, I don't know if you could be playing right now. And I took that like a little kid saying you can't have candy.
Right.
So I told myself that day, whether it was football, whether it was lacrosse, whether it's boxing, I'm going to become a professional athlete and show everyone how I could do this rather than why I can't.
Right.
And if someone whether I'm in a room with 100 people and there's one person that needs to hear that and it could change their life,
Sure. I mean,
that's
powerful.
part of my in a sense future I want to do with the art is spread that message.
When you're not doing your art, obviously you're not working and doing charities. You got to have some fun.
Yeah.
We talk about what you like to do,
Yep.
but tell the audience what do you like to do for recreation?
I'm a pirate. I was raised on the water. My dad, Ernie
Being
Hipner,
from Long Island.
from Long Island. We got a summer house in Peconic and Cutchogue. My nanny had a house, and then my aunt and uncle have a house now in Cutchogue. Always on boats. Pictures of me when I was a little kid with Steve Irwin blonde curls in the back of my head this big on a boat, acting I'm driving. And my dad, again, my role model, my guy that's been in my corner, having my back my whole life, he's a volunteer Coast Guard. So for me hearing, giving back and having that, this guy has a huge painting on his wall in his office that he got he got given from the Coast Guard Association as essentially a thank you, as he was on one of the ships that went out and rescued someone, and he, as a volunteer, that's, he didn't do it for anybody. Yeah, it's huge. And, from him just always having that passion, even with the athletics, he was an athlete. He played football at East Meadow. We had the same coach.
Wow.
Vinny Massia, he was the just graduated. He was a coach when my dad played.
Yeah.
Then years later, he stayed. He
became
actually just
that coach.
retired, but he was, my brother and my coach. So, yeah, fishing is something that I will never, just like art, stop
Yeah.
doing. Because, like I
What
say,
kind
when
of fish do you like to go for?
so I call it fishing, not catching, first of all, because in a sense, just like I'm learning a lot about cigars. I was never a cigar guy. And when I hang out with a friend, here, when I was with Tony with a lot of these events, I literally tell them, please teach me. Show me with the V cuts,
Right.
the different type of cuts, how to light it. And hearing the conversations from multiple people, cigar's not really about smoking a cigar. It's about the conversations and the time you have with someone smoking a cigar and connecting. And
It's
you have
about the experience.
the experience. That's the word I'm looking for. You have an hour to kill.
Yep.
What are we going to talk about?
Right.
And
And
fishing,
it bonds you, kind of bonds people
bonds
together.
people. 'Cause
Fishing bonds you.
fishing bonds you because you're on the
water.
to
There's
your
nothing else to do.
to your point. As I grew older, I love going for sea monsters. I've been catching porgies, fluke my whole life. These things in
Yeah.
the bay. Now I see this. I'm like, I want a hammerhead.
Right.
I want a
a giant tuna.
a giant bluefin tuna or something where like you're in the middle of nowhere, there's no land, and it's not for everyone, but I love that thrill. And the thing is why I say that to cigars is because unlike porgy fishing, fluke fishing, you might be popping things up every minute. Right when you put that rod down, you feel a little nibble, all right, cool, you get the rod shaking. But when you go shark fishing, when you go tuna fishing 50, 60, 70 miles off coast by the canyon,
Yep.
there's a lot of days where it's cold fishing, not catching, because you're not pulling anything back,
Right.
and you got to drive 5-6 hours back to the dock.
Sure.
With nothing, after not sleeping, no food, and for me as a fisherman, I'm like, I love this.
Yeah.
Because think about the memory we all just had, rather than focusing just on the fish. But
Right.
I'd say probably shark. Sharking is just. I caught a mako once. Caught a bunch of blue sharks. Never a thresher yet.
Yeah, my friends go every year. They go in the tournament.
They go
Even
for
though
the
the last
tournament.
couple of years they haven't had it because of the
regulations they
got
have, which is
regulations.
crazy.
But I've been in a few tour. I've caught a mako. I've caught a blue.
How big was the mako you
It was
caught?
it was small. It was like 120.
That was 150,
130,
something like that, 75.
Wasn't a big one, but it put up a big fight. Mm-hmm. But tuna puts up the hardest.
The crazy fight,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
because
We caught a few tunas. I haven't never caught a giant tuna, but my friends actually won the Star Island.
the Star Island, yeah.
They just
yeah.
won it this year.
Really?
They caught the tuna that won the tournament.
What is the captain, you know?
Yeah, Pete, my friend Pete. Natalia is the name of the boat.
I think my dad might know. I think he might have went on his boat
Probably.
for
He's always
charter
out
one
there,
time.
yeah.
So
But that's a great recreation. I mean, if you're fishing and you're out with the guys, it's nothing better.
So this is my family page. If you're ever listening, please follow. It's called Hypnotizer Fishing. Last name Dylan Hypner. So when you're on the boat with us, you're getting hypnotized. The fish are getting hypnotized.
Right.
So this is our page. My brother Tom runs it.
Okay.
So I
Nice.
just wanted to show you this.
Oh, wow.
So that's my Uncle
I
Jimmy.
think I saw that on Instagram. Yeah, I
we
did
call
see
him the
size
model of the
that.
page. He lives in Southampton, so he's
Okay.
always out there. But that thing, I think they paid where they sold it. You actually have to have a commercial license to keep those things and
Yeah.
sell it. So basically, captains take care of it. But I think it was like a 10, 15K ticket
Yeah,
for that thing.
nice.
But then people see that on the outside, and they're like, I want to be a fisherman. I want to be a pike Jack Sparrow.
They
And
don't
it's like,
see all the times you get nothing.
They don't see the times you get
Especially
nothing.
sharking. Sharking's like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah,
If you're trolling and
At least you're moving around. The shark fishing, you're sitting there, you got the
Sitting
balloons
there,
out
it's
there,
like-
you're waiting for that line. And,
God forbid it gets rough and you're out in Montauk and the
Oh.
weather starts changing.
yeah,
It's not fun.
the water is crazy, and that's
is.
why learning from my dad as a avid boater in a sense, people don't realize the danger of being out there. And
Oh, yeah.
for him
It's not a
having
joke.
a Scout, 24-foot Scout, one engine, 250 Yamaha, it's a beast boat. You know, it cruises, it's nice, but he always, and sometimes I'm like, Dad, let's go out in the ocean, it's good. He'll always make sure checking the weather and saying, with on one engine, we don't have backup.
Yeah.
And
that's
if
it.
you're stuck out there, you have to have every precaution set before you have fun.
Wow.
And to your point, it's
Yeah,
people don't realize that. But yeah, love fishing, and then anything with animals. I tell everyone if it's my birthday, don't get me a Gucci shirt, don't get me anything. Get
Right.
me a pen with a tiger on it or something,
Right.
and I will love it. Get me a mug with a Komodo dragon, like my friend Joe Foiler bought me for my birthday.
Cool.
And I'll love it.
Yeah.
Going to like different, zoos, aquariums. I went to the Myrtle Beach. I don't know if you saw Tiger King.
Yeah.
So Doc Antle, his preserve, the reservation, whatever, in Myrtle Beach Safari. I went there a couple of years ago before it blew up, and I was hanging out with a liger. I'm like, when I was watching Napoleon Dynamite, I thought it was like
Yeah.
they were just making it up. And I
Right.
saw this liger, and this thing was the biggest, his teeth
Wow.
were this big. And this guy, Doc Antle, has his hand in, grabbing his teeth, he's
crazy.
like, oh, how you doing, Parsley, whatever. And I'm like, you're a freak, dude. One day, you're going to lose that hand.
sick.
Yeah, Steve Irwin's like my idol growing up, watching him, thinking I was a young crocodile hunter. So, and again, boats, water,
Right.
animals. I'm like
all-
a nature
it's all
wildlife
relative.
guy. Yeah.
How about hunting? You like hunting?
I
You're a
don't
hunter?
I don't hunt, but I don't I like hunting, in a
Right.
sense that like I have a respect for it. I just
You're not a
never
hunter.
got out there and did it. Yeah, I think because
You like
being a
animals so
family
much.
guy, not even that. I think being a family guy, like again, my dad, he was an athlete. I grew up in, to being an athlete with fishing, and in a sense, he never pushed anything on us. But
Right.
guy's my dad. We got the same blood, so I think coincidentally, me and my brother just happen to love
Sure.
the
Especially
same things.
you were on boats since you were a kid.
Exactly, but I would love to get into it.
Yeah. How about sports teams? What teams do you like?
My papa, I got to thank him this year, especially after yesterday, because he raised me green, and
Gangrene.
and
look good.
and we've been waiting for this
Oh my
line, and
goodness!
every year,
Finally, Rodgers looks like is the old Aaron Rodgers.
that was a beautiful game,
was.
and
Textbook.
textbook and watching that as a Jets fan.
Yeah.
What I thought is not. I'm not thinking of the game.
No.
I'm thinking of every year of my life at Christmas, at Easter. My papa saying, "Next year's gonna be our year,
it.
Dill," and I'm like,
We'll get him next year.
"Keep dreaming, Pop." And now I called them, and I'm like, "This."
We don't want to jinx it though.
Not jinx it, but not even saying anything
Yeah.
about that. But just watching a good game.
Yeah.
Nothing
Enjoying
about the
a game.
future.
Yeah.
Enjoying like a great game.
Not so
And as a Jets fan, I'm like,
It's
there's
tough.
one point where I had to. And I was like, do I go blue? I was like, do I? No, I'm a loyal guy, but
Yeah.
it's good to see them. And never was, being a lacrosse guy, never followed baseball as much until I did the last couple of years. And then it started to become a sport I watch all the time. And I just love it. And I'm like, wow, I never really followed it. And
Right.
it's actually such a cool game, like America's game. And I don't really have a Yankees Mets side.
Right.
I
Just
just
the
root
New
for
York.
New York. Yeah.
I mean, we're Yankee fans, obviously in the Bronx, but we
So
have.
today I'm a Yankees fan.
That's it. Today
That's it.
you're
Like
a-
I said, I could.
But we do have some Met fans. We had a few on the show.
You did,
A few
okay.
that I'm friendly with.
How'd that go?
They went good, Of
Next
course,
thing you know, the
we gotta rub
podcast is
it in
over.
their
You're
face.
like, no, you suck.
It's better than having a Boston guy on the show.
Yeah, that's.
But,
you probably got to not accept the invitation.
No,
I'm just kidding.
He's not allowed. So obviously, you're doing great. Your health obviously is doing well. I'm happy
Thank
for
you, Joe. Appreciate it, bro.
Where do you see yourself going with this, with your life in 5 years from now? That's why I always question. I
Yeah.
always like to, because it seems like you were thinking about this even before, which most people don't. Most people start thinking about it because I'm going to ask the question.
Yeah.
But it seems like you were thinking about it
Before
while you were even working.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Like a young guy to think that far ahead is impressive. Like
Thank
I
you,
always
Joe.
like a 5-year plan. Like where do I see myself? So every 5 years I like to rethink the equation.
Extremely intelligent
you
to
start
do.
in your 40s, obviously where am I going to be in my 50s? I'm in my 50s, what am I going to do in my 60s? And
Next chapters. Yep.
Right. Because obviously you can't keep working and doing the same things you do when you're younger. You
Yeah.
have to adapt and make changes. So that's the question I'm asking you. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
So in 5 years, I see myself as this next big artist. I see myself creating
Knock on
art. Yeah, and the thing
hope
is, I you know, it doesn't really matter for anybody else besides me regarding the vision that I had.
Yeah.
And I would make you laugh. It's the craziest thing ever. It's something that you can't make up. There was one day I was just sitting on my couch working at JP Morgan after giving Tyson 50 the yard the week after. And all of a sudden I got stuck into like a vision. I never had it before where I was in a movie looking at not 5, the next 10 years of my life. 12 actually, until I was 39. And the vision started where I was like, shh. All of a sudden I was in a bar by the water. All my boys were there. I was working at JP. This was when I was like 31, 32, making like $250,000. And I was the man. I had the bar tab, and everyone at the bar was like, Coors Light on Dill, Miller Light on Dill's tab, Dill's tab.
Yeah.
So this little group of girls was there, and they saw and everything. And I'm a brunette guy, but coincidentally, this little blonde came up to me. We started talking. A couple months later, we went out. A year later, me and this girl got married. Fast forward year by year, we had a kid. We had a boy. Next year, I hope, not that I hope this happens, I just hope I have a healthy kid. Another boy. Next year, another boy.
Wow.
That was a cool thing about this. I had the army of little Dills, 3 boys. And I was working my way up at JP Morgan. Huge property I had, you know, I bought through building my wealth. And the vision went to when I was 39. And I was 39, and I was coming home from JP Morgan in my driveway, huge driveway. Again, I would love to live on the water. It's what this wasn't. This was in the woods. There was trees everywhere, and there's a brick, huge house. And I was driving up, and I got in the door, and my wife, this girl at the kitchen with this huge island, huge kitchen, was there. And right from the bat, the love wasn't there. It wasn't like I met her at this bar.
Yeah.
There was tension for me, just being stressed out from work, not doing what I love. Getting home, painting, not playing with my kids as much, being the great father I know I'm going to become.
Right. Work. All you did was work.
All I did was work. And at 39, we got divorced, me and this girl. And the end vision was me sitting in my office in this house, my dream office, mahogany desk, art everywhere, taxidermy, moose heads, a 500-gallon fish tank, huge office, and had a couple pieces of hair left from the stress. And the house was quiet.
Yeah.
It was dark and it was cold. I didn't feel cold, but I knew like something was telling me this is dark, quiet, and cold.
Wow.
And my hands were like this with this desk. And I couldn't move or talk. And I was just looking straight. And all of a sudden the vision got black and black and black and black and black. And then I got out of the vision. And right from the bat, I knew what someone like, it wasn't even what I thought. Someone was telling me that focusing on everything materialistic, focusing on money, focusing on a job, focusing on all this stuff is not happiness. And essentially having a wife, beautiful, having 3 boys in this dream, healthy kids. At the end of the vision, I wasn't with them.
Right.
I had everything I wanted on my wall, and I couldn't even talk.
You weren't fulfilled.
And basically, whoever was my nanny that passed, or God, someone was telling me that this is not your life.
Right.
And the art, what you're just doing now, this is who you're going to become, and you're going to become the next big artist. And someone like talking to me.
Wow.
And the next day, I walked in the bank and I quit. The next day.
It's powerful stuff right there.
Powerful. And I never had that type
It takes
of thing.
balls too to go and quit your job.
Yeah, and in a sense, it's because I know. I know what's going to happen. And the thing is, like a lot of these people say, so one of my mentors, my good friend, Tony, you know, it's that consistency, that hard work. Right. For example, 2 days ago, I was at an event. Everyone loved my art, right? Everyone loved my art. And I've made such great connections, contacts, got people's numbers, got about 4 or 5 pieces that people want me to make now.
Yeah.
But I didn't sell art that day. So I put it back in my truck, cool part of the business. I take it right back to my gallery. And I'm thinking there, and I'm like, with that, not rejection, but not what I wanted, a lot of people would just let it get in their head, would think about it. I had a coffee, I had AC/DC Back in Black playing, and I was like, what paint am I going to use when I get home, get working, hungry as hell? And as I'm driving back, Tyson's photographer, my boy, says, these new artists, they're rappers, Skilla Baby and TJ Porter, he's like, they're going to be at the strip club, like, 2, 3 a.m. if you want to come hang out, meet a piece, go to their music video. And I'm like, giddy up.
Yeah.
What's next? And it's a number. Even JP, they would tell you it's spaghetti at the wall. You make 100 calls.
Right.
You get 5 people that are going to bring money in. 95 calls don't matter.
Yep.
So for me, staying active, me building relationships, telling people who I am, what I want to do, it's really just, it's like I said, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just me. If I lose
The hunger.
the hunger, if I lose that momentum,
Yeah.
it's gonna all go downhill. But in the opposite, the wolf climbing the hill,
Yeah.
not hungrier. I don't like that saying, hungrier at
Oh,
the wolf at the top. But
right.
I'm I'm
You want to always have that competitive edge and keep it going.
exactly that
Like even
hungry
in our
wolf climbing the
business.
hill
So,
is dangerous.
I mean, we're all about cold calling. I mean, years ago, that's all we did.
Which I
We didn't.
never, for not to interrupt you, but I never experienced
Yeah.
that.
See, we
I
didn't
was
have.
warm calling a
We
chain.
didn't have the internet when I was your
That's a different
age.
game. The
We would
cold
pick up the
calling.
phone and just call leads all day long.
Who the hell is this? It's Joe.
So, and I have friends in the stock business, and that's all they did is cold call, cold call, cold call.
My brother did as well.
You would get a lot of rejection, hang up. So we're used to that.
Yeah.
Like the generation today, like you said, they're not used to rejection. They take that as like a defeatist. Like you could have went home and just said, this is not working out for me. I didn't sell any art,
Yep.
and discouraged.
Rather than the
And
opposite.
today I see so many young business entrepreneurs, and that's why they don't last. We're talking about, being an entrepreneur, and obviously you are an entrepreneur because this is your own business. But it's tough to really withstand the rejection.
You know
I
what
think that's one of the hardest things to get through as a business owner is when someone rejects your business or doesn't buy from you.
Because do you feel like it's rejecting you?
Yeah, what am
'Cause
I
your
doing
business
wrong?
is your baby. It's
what
you.
am I?
Yeah.
What did I do wrong? But
to get this exactly? But
and you have to figure out as you go. You can't service everyone. You got to focus. So there's a couple of, I like to read a lot of business books. 80-20 rule.
I never read that, but I heard
great
about that.
book.
It's great. Who is that by?
I don't know who the author is, but it's basically 80% of your business will come from 20% of your clients. So you
I
don't,
like that.
you focus
Yeah.
on your 20%. So like you go with your referrals. So you build up a nice little referral network, and then everyone you sold a piece to or did work for, those are your clients. Those are your best. Those are going to be your best advertisers.
Yep.
Oh, you got to see Dylan's work. Look at this piece he did. So like people are going to see this. They're going to call me and say, "Who made that for you?"
Yep.
And I'm going to say, "Oh, you got to contact Dylan. Here's his number." So
And boom, and that's what's happening right now. And like I said, I'll
that's
never
how you
stop
build-
thanking Tony.
and that's how you
'Cause
build your business.
this-
It's all referrals and networking and really.
and getting out there and just get like even last night, I was at an event and went to an event and I'm just talking to one person, and one person brings you over. I want you to meet this person. I'm talking to them for 5 minutes. I want you to meet this person.
Yeah.
And it's so funny you say that because right now, 80% of my business is from this Westchester, the Yonkers, New York, and the city, this area that the love is out of control. And
You're doing great work, great things.
I
man.
appreciate it. And
tell everyone at home how they could reach you.
Yeah.
Obviously, Instagram.
Yep.
is big.
So right now, in the last 2 weeks, I launched my website that's fully active. That you could put a piece in the cart right now and buy
What is it?
It's komodoart.com.
Okay.
Keep it simple. It's what it is. I just got my first gallery, my first studio in a private gallery and studio in Westbury.
Nice. Where's that?
That's it's in Westbury. It's
Okay.
in Long Island. It's over there. It's actually it's close to the old Source Mall if you're ever familiar with that area. But so I just got that. Got the Instagram, the artist Komodo, the TikTok, the artist Komodo, YouTube, artist Komodo. Trying to keep everything.
Well, this will be on YouTube, obviously. People will
Yep.
go on there. So we'll put the link up so they could actually go on.
Yeah, and anybody
check
that
it
is
out.
watching, I'd say, to you, I was talking to John before even too, I didn't even really get started with where my vision is on that side of YouTube and TikTok. Being 5 months in and setting up the LLC, creating, and it's about to go nuts right now. I'm about to
Social
take this
media,
to the
it's-
next level.
Because we're so busy working. You have that work mentality. But social media is also work, but it's a lot of work.
I try, sometimes
It's
friend,
hard.
now my mom's like, I'm on the phone. I'm like, this isn't like I'm scrolling.
Right.
I'm working right now.
I'm posting. I'm trying to figure out ideas of what the next great, post is going to be.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
And the cool thing about social media that I like this analogy because I feel like, especially even like not kids, but teenagers, someone like when I first heard it, it really resonated with me that social media being like a tool or a weapon nowadays that, if you use it as a tool, it could be an industrial power tool,
Sure.
you blow up. But the thing is, when you're doing something, this is kind of really how I feel now, is whether it is on social media or you're just doing things in life, making connections, it's your garden. It's no one else. It's your garden. And just like everyone loves flowers, throw flowers, you can't have your garden growing without dirt. And in the end of the day, people might not like my art. People not like me, but give me that dirt, baby, because my garden needs to grow. And I got the flowers. I got my boy who's inviting me on this podcast. Now I need some dirt. And to your point, not even the rejection, but I feel like the younger Dylan.
Yeah.
They didn't love the dirt as much.
Yeah.
Now, smile full.
Yep.
Say what you want because it doesn't matter. When I do, give back to causes, and I know people are out there, saying, oh, Dylan might be doing this for marketing, but fuck you. Right. No, it's because me giving 8,000 to the autism awareness event instead of getting 8K, felt a fucking fire in my heart. And having everyone come up to me and recognize real. I'm like, dude, this is
and you'll get it back tenfold. So
exactly. And the thing is, I know that. So the people, the dirt,
they don't see
it, and it doesn't
that's
matter.
What makes you,
Exactly.
People that give and give their time, money. It doesn't always have to be money, but it could be time. It
could be time, and that could be more valuable than money.
And you change someone's life, you're going to get that back tenfold. So. But thank you for coming on.
Of course, thank you for having me, Joe. This was a great day.
Appreciate it.
Thank you
good
for,
luck with your
for getting
art.
a custom piece. As I was making this, it's to everyone listening, it's funny. I say, send me what you like, send me what means a lot to you, and whether you give me something or I take it, I'll hold on to it for a month. I'll be like Bruce Wayne in the dark, creating. You're not going to see me. You're not going to see the pieces. And then in a month, I give it back to you, and I say, this is on your wall forever. And it's an honor for having it and creating it for that month, 2 months, whatever the time is. But thank you for giving me the opportunity to make this, having me on. And you're going to be my guy for life. And thank you, guys.
Great. Joe Cosentino, Coffee with Cosentino. See you next time.